Hello, everyone. I hope that we are coming through. This is the first time with this, and we are maybe experiencing a few technical difficulties, but we are here now. Let's see. Do we have people coming in? Let's see here. Yep, people are coming in. I can see them coming in now. I am so thankful for this day. I'm very excited about, let's see here. It's asking me to let people in here. I want to make sure. No, people are here. So I'm getting a few calls from people saying that they are not in. So I'm just, excuse me, while we try and address a few technical difficulties. And let's see here. Let's see here. I see. Okay, here we go.
You should just put a dito.
There we go. We finally got it. Let me see here. I want to make sure I'm going to unmute my man, Andy. And let's see here. You turn your voice down, Jamie.
Can you hear me?
I can hear Rob C. And can I, Andy, let me see you. Let me hear you pipe through.
1, 2, hey.
We got you. Now we in business.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for being here today. I am very excited that we could have as many of you here to participate in this show today. You are here at CX Talk. And CX Talk, I want to talk to you just a little bit about CX Talk. We are a division of the compassx.org group, and our purpose for CX Talk is to present to you people that we feel are inspiring, that have done various things within the community and are making a difference in some form or another. And CX Talk, CompassX, is an online platform providing tools to navigate life. As we all know, there's so much going on right now with COVID and everything else. So any way that we can get inspiration is a plus. So I have two special guests that I want to really say special guests, and I want to show you how special they are. They are kicking off the first show that we have. And I want to just look over to my technical person. Is there some things going on?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. So there are my special guests. I want to say that they are my special guests because they are the ones that I invited to be the first one on the show. This is this is an ongoing show that we'll be having. We have a tremendous lineup for the months to come. We have some very famous actors. We have some very heroic, what we call the unsung heroes, which are everyday people that are doing things in the community. And our purpose for having that is for inspiration. We want to have everyday people as well as the stars go deep in talking about the things that have inspired them to reach the levels that they have in their lives. And also it is to show that there's no difference between what we call the celebrities and the unsung heroes. The only difference is life has accoladed them with being on the screen or with awards. And our purpose for having the unsung heroes is that we award them ourselves from CX Talk. So with that being said, my first guest that I want to bring into the fold is a gentleman. I want to read, first of all, his bio, because, you know, a lot of times an artist feels a little uncomfortable with talking about themselves. So I'll do the talking for them in this case. So in this case, I want to present to you Mr. Andy Stokes. And I want to just play a little bit first of Andy's music. And could you do that? I want to let me bring my technician on. And then we can show Andy's video. Let's see here. I got to get, here we go.
I have to go down.
It's not like television. I'm generally doing television, so everything is done. So Zoom is new, but we'll make it happen. Are you ready then?
Yeah, but you want me to just play it now?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay, is your video showing there, Andy?
I don't see a thing.
You have to share me now. I have to share it here online.
That's the wrong one. Okay, let's do this here. Okay, what I'm going to do is go ahead and interview Andy, and then we'll let her give us time to set back up the audio for that. Okay, so I'm getting an echo from somewhere. Is that you, Andy? Have
I
you,
don't think so.
Rob, see, I'm have you, I'm unmute you there. That's it.
Microphone check.
Okay, I think it's gone now.
Okay.
So, Rob, see, can you mute yours right now? Because I think that's where we're getting the echo.
Mute mine.
Yeah.
Whoa. Check 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. How's that?
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Okay, Andy. So
Yes.
I want to start with, you might want to, am I getting an echo? Are you guys hearing an echo from me?
No, you're okay.
Okay. Testing. Testing 1, 2.
Mhm.
I would suggest muting all, because I'm seeing it's Jamie that is actually echoing, because it's coming off of hers when it's echoing. It's showing that she's speaking, just for an idea for you guys.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, echoes only come from the same room, not from outward.
Okay, testing. There we go. All right, so few technical difficulties. Our first show, so over a period of time, we'll have it together. So I want to read Mr. Stokes' bio. I think it's worthy of doing so. Let's see here. Andy has been awarded many awards, and he has received the Independent Publishing Award, the Moonbeam Award. He has he was awarded the Muddy Award, named in honor of Muddy Waters for Performance of the Year for performance with the Ray Charles Tribute Band and at the Portland Blues Festival. The City of Portland awarded Andy Stokes for his 30 years of invaluable contribution to music in the region. Andy was inducted into the Oregon Hall of Fame, and he has been recognized as the top male vocalist and the top R&B act in 2015, 2016, and 2017, as well as inductee to the Music Hall of Fame at the Muddy Awards. I would say that's quite an achievement there, Andy. That's
Pretty blessed. Pretty blessed. I'm blessed. Sorry, I was
Yes.
muted. So
Absolutely. So I have a few questions for you. I wanted to just give those accolades out first. I want to first recognize, though, that it's Black History Month. And I want to ask you, what does Black History Month mean to you?
well, it means a recognition of African Americans' progress and their achievements over the years of fighting. What we had to go through for so many years, and to see us rise up to the top now. It's a beautiful thing to see, and it's something that we cannot stop doing. We got to keep striving to move forward and become better and become our own people and take care of our own self and know our own worth. And so this day means a lot to me. I grew up in the South. I know what it is to deal with all that stuff. And, and I watch my father, who was my inspiration, to watch him, battle and rise up, and get to where he was to, take care of his family, the rank that he got in, when he was in the service. He was in the Army. And, it's just a atonement to the achievement of Black people. That's what
I
it
see
means.
that you mentioned that you were born in the South there. So let's go there. Where exactly were you born?
I was born in Danville, Virginia. It's right on the border, southern border of Virginia, on the border of North Carolina. My whole family, my mom and dad are from Danville, Virginia, and when we stayed there, I grew up there until the third grade, and then my dad, after the mill closed, he decided to go into the Army, and after he did his basic training, he moved the family to Stuttgart, Germany.
I see.
And so, actually, excuse me, Worms, Germany first. I was there. Stuttgart, sorry. I was in Stuttgart from the sixth grade until I was a junior. So
I
most
see.
of my teenage years were in Stuttgart, Germany. And
So did you learn to speak German?
Yeah, I sprechen Sie Deutsch, my friend. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love it. I can't go with you, but
I know you can't, but yeah.
didn't
So
speak.
it was a great time in Stuttgart. It was I think it was the best thing for the family, because at that time it was hard for my dad to find a job and everything. So he came to us and said, "I'm going into the service." Went to Germany. It's the best time of our lives. Best time of our lives. And I didn't do music over there. I was in, we followed my dad's footsteps. He was an athlete. My dad was all everything, all world, all army, all this and that. And his
Well, as I
son,
was reading your bio there, I see that actually music was not what you originally thought you were going to be a part of.
yeah, if you'd asked me about music back then, I would have told you hell no, because I was trying to be a pro football player by my mama house. That's what I was trying to do.
I see.
So,
Well,
and,
you did get a scholarship, isn't that
I
correct?
got a scholarship down to University of Oregon, and in those days when I came out of high school, I was like 170 pounds, and so sometimes they send you to junior college first back in the day, and then you play a year junior college and they build you up, and then you go. And so I went down to Mount Hood College in Gresham, Oregon, and had a great season, great year, and a couple of years. Then went down to Oregon, and after school came to Portland, and started living my adult life. And
So how did you get the transfer from being a jock, receiving a scholarship, looking to, as you say, buy your mom a house playing football,
yeah.
to going into music? That's kind of a major switch.
Yes, well, my father was very musical. He had all the 45s and hi-fi, and we used to sit in the living room on Saturdays, and he'd listen to his music, and I would have the broomstick acting like I was James Brown trying to sing to it. And when I was a junior in high school, I realized I had a voice that I can carry a tune, and so I used to just listen to records and mimic and sing songs my own way. And it was a fantasy. I had friends who were in bands. I would go see them. Never thought that I would ever do it. And so one night, and I was out, excuse me, Rob, you wouldn't know about this. I was out in Beaverton on Beaverton Hillsdale Highway. It used to be a club called the Chase Lounge.
Ah, nice.
And so a friend of mine, Pete Dominici, he owned it. And I used to did landscaping on the side for Shiloh Inns. And a couple of guys, we all would go there on Thursday nights, and I got to know the DJ, Billy Bump, and he would play music, and I would just stand in the DJ booth and just start, ad-libbing and just making up stuff and and all that.
So
And
that was literally the beginning of your
that was
career,
the beginning. And
doing karaoke.
yeah, it wasn't even karaoke. Wasn't nobody in there. I was just singing along,
Oh,
but yeah.
I
And
see.
so the next night, we went back the next night, Friday night, and about midnight, Billy Bump goes, "Hey, we just got a singer that just made his debut in Vegas, and he's here tonight." And so we're all looking around to see who the singer was. And all of a sudden they hit me with the spotlight, and I froze, man. I just froze. And I said, "I'm not singing in front of people." And anyway, my debut of singing in front of people was standing on a chair on the DJ booth, making up words to that song, Ring My Bell.
Oh, wow.
And so,
That's an amazing start.
and
So
so,
from there,
yeah,
so
so
let's-
from
let's
there,
talk-
Ben Wolf, bass player, who's played with Harry Connick, he's now professor at Juilliard, asked me if I wanted to join a band, and I said, why not? And so I did, and from there, the rest is history, and I've been blessed to play with these great musicians, and
So really,
yeah,
music chose you,
basically.
because from your story, it wasn't like you pursued it at all. You just stood on a chair and started singing one day, and then someone said, "Hey, we've got to get this guy."
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something that I didn't listen to is when the football thing didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
My mother told me, she said, "You wasn't put on this earth for that. You was put on this earth for something else." And I just, "Oh, Mom, I went like that. I didn't, but here I am, and every day I'm blessed to, to be in the business and to be, have some success. And it's been a long journey, and I'm glad to be here.
Let's talk about that long journey, because I know how I first became familiar with it is when I moved from California doing my own thing in music. I came to Portland, and looked like all of the clubs that I was going to that had live music. And at the time that I came there, live music was really popping, right?
Yeah.
And there you was. And over a period of time, every time you were performing somewhere, there was a crowd there just really digging your music. And so later I kept hearing your name and hearing your name. And then I saw you do what I felt for Portland was probably the biggest thing, which was the Blues Festival.
Yeah, that's huge. It's huge.
Invited on the Blues Festival, which, by the way, I'm told that it is, if not one of the top 3 in the U.S.
Yes, it is.
festivals.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty big, right?
Yes,
That's a
that's
big
huge.
stage. And so when I saw you on the big stage, I was like, okay, he's done it now. He's made it. And then later, when we had our radio show up in Bellingham called The Beat of the Street, we invited you on and you had just hit with that mega hit of yours. And I mean, it stayed on the chart how long again?
Stayed on charts 25 weeks. It was number 1 for 3 weeks on the soul charts and top 10 on Billboard and Urban AC. And it's still being played to this day. And it's you know, like I tell my wife, I say, hey, you know, we got one. We got a classic. And
that's right.
And so every year this time, wedding time, it starts rejuvenates itself. So.
As much as I feel I know music, when I first heard that, it was one of those things that you feel, now that's a classic, because it, you know, certain music hits and it goes, right? And then there's certain music that hits and it stays the test of time. And so I feel like, you know, from my perspective, it was one of those tunes that did that. And it's a feel-good music. You know,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You gotta write feel good music, man. If it don't feel good, don't do it. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm a type of entertainer, and I'm all about my fans. I'm all about who I'm entertaining. You know, if you come to see me, I'm gonna try to give you 8,000%. You know, if you're paying to see me, I'm giving you 8,000%. And I hope you, when you leave, that you know, you got that feeling inside you, hey, I had a great night, and then you spread the word and tell everybody. If you go see Andy, you're gonna hear some feel good music. You're gonna feel good when you leave. And that's what I think what an entertainer should do, you know, because without the fans,
Yeah, it's tough.
You know,
And actually,
fans,
with that being said,
you ain't nothing.
it sort of
that's my thing.
segue into the conversation of COVID, how it has affected the industry. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute, because I know that, you know, the artists are completely prohibited to some degree from doing stage appearances. So how have you dealt with that one? Because that's another one of those valleys that you have to adjust to.
Yeah. Well, you know, when it first hit, you know, we had some shows, you know, we had some shows booked. You know, I was looking forward to. I got disappointed because I had a show booked in Seattle with it was SOS band Lakeside and myself, and
Oh,
I was
wow.
looking forward to doing that show because I hadn't seen any of them since I did a show with them in Augusta. And I was really just, and then when the COVID hit, they canceled everything and everything else that went along with it. And we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know what to do. Everything was shutting down. And so the one positive thing out of it is, you know, I now have a studio in my house and I'm writing. You know, it forced me to focus on writing songs and honing in on my craft and become a even better songwriter. You know, and
Excellent.
but
So,
what kept me going is I started doing concerts for the neighborhood, and
oh yeah,
so that I got so much joy out of that. You know, so that kept me going, and we had this, you know, thing that we did, you know, last year during the summer, and you know, every 2 weeks to 3 weeks we had a concert, and it was everybody's out in the street having a good time, man, and it was just, you know, it just kept me going through the whole summer. So, you know, and I'll do it again. I'm going to do it again if we, you know, we have to wait. You know, I think nothing's going to open up until hopefully by the end of the year and into 2022.
yeah. Well, the conversation seems as though it's going to be the end of the year, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, what was the inspiration behind The Best Day Ever?
My wife.
Oh, your wife.
Yeah, I wrote the song about my wife.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah, she's you know, you meet somebody late in life, and you at that time, you go through your relationships, and then you finally, I woke up and said, okay, I gotta stop worrying about relationships. I gotta focus on, getting my foundation together where I want to be or whatever. And once you start doing the right thing to help yourself, you never know what falls in your lap. And a friend of mine who I known for 30 years, introduced me to her, and I knew right then.
Is that right?
I knew as soon as after we had, we started talking, we met initially, and the next few weeks we started talking. I knew because
Yeah.
I talked to her like I've known her for a long time,
So
and
how long
my
thereafter did you meet?
brothers, they never hugged nobody,
Oh,
and
is
they
that
was
right?
hugging all up on her, and
All
so
right.
that's
And
and
that was a confirmation as well.
that was confirmation for me. Yeah.
Right, right. How long thereafter did you did the inspiration go with your wife that you just had to do that tune?
Well, I went to California, I was trying to write the song. It was in Kirkland. We were in Kirkland at the time, Washington, and I was writing the song. I had the lyrics, down, but I didn't. I felt the music wasn't right. Music wasn't right. So Vicky goes, well, let's go to LA, get an Airbnb, and we'll rent it for a month, and you just write your songs that you were packing the house with, without influence nobody else. Just write your songs. And so I had the lyrics to most of the songs already. So I was blessed to meet this producer. His name is PK, and I said, okay, it's called The Best Day Ever. I sang it to him. This is what where I'm trying to go. So he said, okay, give me an hour. I said, okay, I'll go get us some lunch. This is in Burbank, California, in the studio. And when I came back from lunch, he had as soon as he played the music, I said, it's over. That's it. I said, I'm
No
going in the
kidding,
booth right
just
now.
like that.
Yeah, 2 takes, it was done. So,
Wow,
yeah.
I like it, man.
So, but the up tempo. We were worried, the DJs or our radio guy was worried about, the DJs not playing it because the R&B is all slow,
Yeah,
and this DJ by the name of Doug Williams in Columbia, South Carolina. He heard it. We sent it to him. He heard it. As soon as he heard it, he went right downstairs and put it on the radio. And he said the lines lit up, and then the rest is history. It just took off.
wow.
Next thing I know, I was at 129 on Billboard. The next week, I was at 30 and rising up after that.
Oh, that's too cool, man.
So I was
You know,
pretty blessed, man. So
one of the things that I know, if I'm correct, you're in the Great Northwest now, isn't that correct? Up in Canada?
yeah, I'm up here with my wife. My wife's Canadian, and she has a
Okay.
place up here. Yes.
And so, and of course, I live here as well. But one of the things that I love Canada for all it's worth, but one of the things that I really am unhappy about is the R&B music scene.
There isn't one.
It's nil.
Yeah, we got to create one.
Yeah. I guess you're
Yeah.
right. Because, but like when I went to visit my mom who lives down in Houston, by the way, they're on today. I want to send out blessings and pure positive vibration to the Texas state for the devastation that it's gone through.
Right. Absolutely.
But in any case, when I went down there, I turned on the music. R&B was everywhere, man. Everywhere, just popping. And then the minute I left California, it was almost like desert from that point on, right?
Yeah, there's no R&B in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm from being from starting my career in Portland, you would have thought that Z100 or any other radio station would get behind the artist from Portland to help push, but
You would think.
nothing.
Well, I tell you what, you're right. We'll have to create one. As soon as the gate opens and the freedom comes back out, and we're able to get things going. We have to put R&B back on the scenes for the Northwest, because I mean, literally from Oregon up, it's just like a desert when it comes to R&B.
Well, I know they do. I know they do love R&B up here
Yes.
in Canada. I know
Yes.
they do that because
Absolutely.
you know, I know they do. And I was talking to one of my songs off of the Now record called "Tell Me." I recorded some of it here in Vancouver, and the engineer, her name was Olivia, and she was about in her 20s, and I asked about R&B, and she said there's no R&B. She said if anybody came out and that was really good that did R&B, the clubs would be packed every time they played.
Wow.
That's coming from a person of her age, and so
There you
so
go.
we can bring it back. We just got to do it.
Yeah.
That's-
All right. Well, I mean, we can't shake hands on that, but let's pretend we did. Okay. So at any rate,
I can't wait to be able to perform up here. I'm looking so forward to being able
There
to
you go.
perform up here. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
so Andy, as I begin to close out on you, I could talk with you all day. It's just like when we were in the studio at the radio station. I mean, we had a blast that day.
Oh, that was a beautiful day, my friend.
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah, that
was.
was great. And with my main man, Booker, who I think may be on today. But as I close out, I want to find out from you what's been, because you've been in the game for a minute, right? And I know that it has not always been good, and
Oh,
there have been some struggles there. So what was it that
Well,
had given you that drive to keep going?
well, to be honest with you, I almost quit.
Mm,
1996, I got signed with Warner Brothers and went down to California, and Kashif was producing my record, and
mm,
everything was going great. Everything was going well. I did the record. I did both the videos, and waiting for it to drop in '97. It was supposed to drop in April of '97, and as I'm in Marina Del Rey, I stopped. I didn't hear anything for a long time, and so I called up Kashif and said, "Hey, hey, what's going on, man? I'm just sitting here bored, man. Maybe, if you ain't doing anything, let's go have some lunch or whatever." And he goes, "You haven't heard?" I said, "Have heard what?" He said, "Warner Brothers just merged with AOL and they dropped like 9 artists." And
oh, wow. And you were one of the 9.
yeah, and I'm sitting down, so everything stopped. The money stopped coming. I had to move out of the place that I was staying at. Had nowhere to go. If I didn't have my friend Bill Beckman, anesthesiologist in Marina Del Rey, who used to live in Portland, that moved there, I had nowhere to go.
Wow.
It was just like that. Like, you done by.
Mm.
And
Familiar story in the industry, though.
yeah, absolutely. And I was so mad. I was so mad. I knew something was up when my parents came down, to see me. They caught the train all the way down there to see me, and then the manager didn't show up. Okay, and so we're sitting in the hotel all day. So anyway, that day Bill Beckman let me use his car. So my mom and dad always wanted to go to Hollywood and Vine,
Right.
and because dad
The
wanted to
famous
kiss
street.
my mom on Hollywood and Vine. He wanted to get out the car, go to the corner, and kiss mom right on the corner.
I love it.
And so
Memorable moments, right?
So we did all that and everything. So we had a good time regardless. But and then we put them back on the train and they left. And so I moved out of the house and stayed with Bill Beckman. And I told him I'm done. I said I'm done. When I go back to Portland, I'm just gonna get a job, and that's the end of it. And Bill Beckman, may rest in peace now, took me out. How he rejuvenated me was he took me out to this place, Toppers in Santa Monica, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the Santa Monica Pier. But I'm furious. I'm really mad. And so Bill Beckman was a go-getter. He's always positive. And so there was a guitar player and a violinist playing, Thursday night. And he left the table, and I guess he went up to him, asked him, if who told him who I was and asked if I could sing. So he comes to the table. I damn near cussed him out because I didn't, man, hell no, I'm done, So and he said, come on, man, just get up there and all that anger you got in you, you just put it in that song. And
Wow.
I said, he said, come on, Andy. I said, okay. So I did. So I get up to go walk toward the stage when they call me, and there's Robert Plant and Pierce Brosnan.
Wow.
And right there. And then I got nervous. And so, what do you want to sing? I said, I don't know. And so, and I looked out the window and saw the Santa Monica Pier. So I just sang Dock of the Bay.
Uh-huh.
And I just put everything I had into the song, and everybody went crazy. And even after that, I went back and sat down, and I'm still mad, afterwards. And then a blessing happened. The guitar player came up to me and said, hey, would you like to do Thursday nights with me here? My violinist is moving back to Boston. I said, he said, yeah. He said, you make $100 every Thursday. And I said, yes. And so I did that for like 3-4 months and got enough money to come back to the Northwest.
There you go.
And try to stay
Kept
away
going from there.
Yeah. And try to stay away from music even when I got back, and, had a couple of jobs and got laid off the jobs. And I knew that I still had a name in the Northwest, in Portland, whatever. I said, well, I know I could play music and put a band together and make money. And the first time I did, I got to go to St. Thomas, Virgin Islands for 6 months.
Nice.
And so I was back, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good story, man. Very good story. I that was on my list to ask you about that. So that's fantastic. And what would you like to say? I'm going to just take a quick second. Do we have the video set up? Because what I'd like to do when okay. Not yet. I would like for you, Andy, to give what I would call a powerful close to who Andy is. And, there's hundreds and hundreds of artists that are out there that are always looking for inspiration. And they reach that point where you reached, where they will give up. And I think COVID has been one of those things that are like a great tester. Like, do you want to do this? Because you have no place to do it.
Right.
So what is a profound word or simple word or anything that you'd like to say to those who are out there?
Stay true to your passion. This is what your passion is. Music is my passion. And even though, you go through the ups and downs and, through the low valleys and high valleys, or whatever you want to call it, never, always know where you want to go. Always know where your passion is. My passion was always entertaining. And so, or whatever you do, figure skating, skier, basketball player, football player, whatever. If that's your passion, never leave your passion, and you're going to go through hard times, and that's when you have to dig in and be patient and come out of it, and so my words to everybody with all that said is stay true to yourself, stay true to your passion, and never, ever, ever give up, period.
There you go. I appreciate that. Let's see if we have it dialed in. I'm going to mute.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen Karani.
After we play Andy's collection there of the best day ever, we're going to go right into my main man, Robb Coleman. So, Andy, I don't know if you have time to stick around. I know we had talked that you might have. In fact, I'm surprised because you said you had about 15 minutes. So I sort of slipped in the other 15 on you.
I know you got, but that's okay. We family, I know you. And Robb, when I come down to Portland, man, I do want to, connect with you and whatnot. Cause I used to live in Beaverton off of Shoals Ferry Road in Murray. So anyway, man, great to meet you.
Definitely. Much love.
Okay, man. See you
All
soon.
right.
See you later, everybody. All
In a
right.
minute.
Take care.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, there, ready.
All right.
It's ready, honey.
So what I'm gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play the best day ever. Here, let's see here. Got to get these technical things down. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you that tomorrow we have the big event, which is the Dressed in Black. So for those of you, this is my movie debut, and we'll be doing it on here as well.
Mm.
So let me see here. Hold on just a second. Well, I tell you what, here we go again. What I'm going to do is go ahead and interview my main man, Robb C, and then try and, for some reason, we are just not being able to get Andy's music in there. Let's see here.
You can play it there on the
Hmm. Okay.
There. I think it's there now. No?
You're not seeing her, you're not seeing the video yet, right?
No.
Okay.
It's gone. Go to Barbara.
That's kind of funny. I'm seeing my sister there.
Oh, that's your sister, huh? She got that
Yeah.
Galaxy S21, huh?
That's right. She's hiding there.
I lost it, honey. I lost it.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and interview.
Take out the echo in your room, Robo.
Test. Yes, I'm out
Yep.
there.
Sound better.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a division that we call the Unsung Heroes. And the Unsung Heroes is our way of drawing attention and paying respect to individuals that have climbed a mountain or still climbing a mountain. And I want to thank him for joining me today because, quite honestly, when you ask people to do certain things like this, it could be one of those things where they feel like, I don't really want anyone to know my story. So
Oh no.
I'm very thankful that he was willing to join me today. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Robb Coleman. I've known him now for probably safely 15 years, Robb.
Yeah, close to it. Yep.
And you do have a remarkable story. I will let you tell that story, but I want to tell you how I know him. First of all, I met him. I had a production company down in the States, in Oregon. And when I first met him, we were getting ready to go to the BET Awards. and to go see some of the top artists and represent the company Street Beat Entertainment Group there. And this young man had been trying to get to me for a while. and he was so persistent and just kept knocking and knocking, say, hey, bro, you know, I'd really like to tell you how I could be an asset to your business and so forth. And finally, I said, okay, let's do this. And then we went to Los Angeles. And the thing that impressed me the most was we were out one night and there was all of these mega stars. I mean, just literally all these mega stars trying to get into this place. And he knew a few guys there that were in the music industry. And there we were driving around in the limos and all of that. And then we went to this club and it was just people packed to get in. And even the security guards of the place couldn't control the environment. And Robb C stepped up and just jumped out the car, paved through. It's almost like Moses when he stood on the mountain and opened up the sea. And we went right through it. And even the security guard goes, wow. It was almost like they wanted to offer him a job that night because they were like, who is this guy who doesn't even work here? And he's able to part the crowd and get these stars through this line. And so that was how I first met him. And that's when I first knew that this young man was a very powerful young man. But in the midst of that, over time, when we got to know each other close, very, very close, he hit a valley. And going from such a plateau of being a very positive individual, he hit a major valley. And I'll let him talk about that because I think no one can tell their story better than the one that has gone through it. So why don't you take it from there, Robb? And I'd like for you to start with talking about, first of all, where did you grow up? I know it's in LA, but talk about the obstacles and the changes, the gang situation, because we never know who we have watching us and how you change yourself from being right in the center of the gang situation to moving on and so on and so forth. You know, whatever you feel comfortable with, but I know you said to me, hey, CX Talk is called Real Talk Always, so let's go there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Robb C.
Oh man, thank you, my big bro Robb. Ever since me and him met, I just start calling him my big brother, man, because that brother, he really has been a mentor in my life, you know. And with that being said, I'm gonna start with my story from I was born and raised on 35th and Gramercy in South Central LA. Right smack dab in the middle of the 30s and the 60s. If you guys are familiar with the young brother Nipsey Hussle that just passed away, me and him, we grew up
Wait
in
a
the
minute.
same.
Hold on. You said Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. For some reason, in my mindset, I heard Malone. So I was about to. What?
Oh no, he good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, me and Nipsey Hussle, we grew up. You know, we grew up around in the same on the same turf, just different neighborhoods. But with that being said, I was brought up, you know, with a mother and father in the home. A lot of a lot of families that's brought up in the neighborhoods where I was brought up at was not didn't have the mother and the father in the home. And I was fortunate enough to have my mother and father in the home. Mother, very strong spiritual individual. My dad, on the other hand, he's very strong, but he was battling with alcohol and pills at the time. So all I remember is the struggle of my mother and my father, me growing up, and the struggle of them keeping their marriage together. But at the same time, both of them very hardworking individuals, very positive, always kept the home together. But when Pops got drunk or got some of those pills in his system, our home got very rocky. And with that being said, me and my brother, we're basically left to the streets. I would say. And the streets was, that was our family members. The homies in the hood. I would say, that's our families. Those are our cousins, our brothers that we didn't have when we were born. So we always called each other cousins. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, throughout all of that, it was a separation with my mom and my dad, and I seen a lot when I was a little kid. And to sit up here and to see all of that, and I'll fast forward to my dad getting clean in the program and did a drug program and got clean. He started getting some years up under his belt, being clean and focused. And, at the same time, my mom was still with him, then, me and my brother was still involved in hanging out with the homies in the hood and, doing things we shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, I'm the older brother, and it's just me and my brother. So basically, my brother looked up to me, at a point in time to where, I started street hustling,
So
and
tell me
then,
this. Let me just step in for a second.
yeah,
So you went from so basically, if I can summarize it, a lot of the struggles that a lot of people face, like your parents did, in trying to have a fantastic marriage, but for some reason the energy is not there. And if
yes,
a person is struggling with something, then it just caused confusion all the way through.
yes,
So
sir.
with that, you went out into the streets, and going out into the streets, I want to ask you, because that story is a profound story, but how did you weave out of that? Because that story within itself is a long story.
Yeah, it is.
So how did you, what was some of the things that sort of started leading you out of that? Because I want for the people who are watching CX Talk, who may be struggling with drugs, or some of the younger people that actually watch the show as well, who may even be in the game, right? What are some of the things you'd like to say that you could share with us that led you out, and then from that point, and then we can come back with some other questions, because I have a lot that I want to get
Yeah.
into.
Real quick, and that's funny you said that too, because I was brought up with homies that was in the hood that basically kept me out of I would per se, like the action and the violence.
I got you.
It's different subdivisions in the neighborhood, I would say, and the violence and the drive-by shootings, I wasn't involved in all of that. I was always a street hustler, right? I had OG homies, even though they wasn't telling me what I'm supposed to do by God's standards.
Right. They were talking the street standards.
Yeah, but the street standards, they told me, number one, stay in school, get that degree. And number two, if you're going to do anything, make some money. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I got into street hustling. And along with that street hustling, I'm a fast forward into my addiction was, that was the number one street code when I was brought up in the hood in South Central LA. Don't never get high off your own supply.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, from my street hustling, years later became an addiction. I was already drinking alcohol and smoking weed when I was young. And that was, looked at as cool, you know what I'm saying? And then my addiction on alcoholism got so hardcore to where I was having blackouts with my uncles and my family members when we hung out. when we hung out, and it was nights I didn't remember.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that myself, and I've been knowing you forever.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, so yeah, you know, it was many nights that I went, you know, without knowing what went on at a party or a gathering with my uncle and some girls. I mean, I've done some embarrassing things, man, and didn't know because I was blacked out on alcohol. You know, and to fast forward, you know, I was in and out of hustling all my life, hustling in the streets, and part of me hustling when I got, you know, in my early 20s, and I'm 48 right now. I got in my early 20s, and I was street hustling, and that's when I got introduced to drugs.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine, a so-called homeboy of mine, introduced me to a drug that would keep me up all night and make my money. That was his. That was his word, and he was getting high off of it too.
Right.
But you know, like everything always comes looking good, and then once you try it yourself, it ain't all so good.
Right. Right.
So I fought with drug addiction, you know, from my early 20s all the way up.
So tell me, how long? I know you're still going to various programs right now.
Yes.
And let's talk about the bright side.
Yeah.
Actually, there's two parts of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that short time of dark side, because it led up into a few years ago.
Yes.
And so let's talk about, how long have you been free?
I've been my clean date. You know, I don't know if you see my title on my screen here. I got my clean date there. It's February the 3rd, 2016. That was the day that I had basically got incarcerated for possession. I was high as a kite, stressed out, and separated from my wife, you know, and my family. And I was going through it, you know, and that was a very dark time. That was a time.
With that, by the way, I want you to just highlight that you stayed under the bridge.
Yeah, I was going to go there. I was going to go there.
How many years?
Yeah, it was like a year and some change. A year and a couple of months. I was basically living in the streets, because that's what drugs will give you. That it's insanity, basically.
Right.
And
how did you?
I chose to go and live in the streets.
I'm gonna keep interjecting here.
Yeah.
How? Because we see people every day. Some choose to be under the bridges, and then because they just kind of anti-society, right?
Yeah.
And then there's some who just fell off just out of economics, the way the world is existing right now. And then there's some who got into, such as your situation, got entangled so deep into drugs that there was no place else to go.
Yes.
So give us a view of that, because that seems like such a mystery to most of us who are in homes.
Okay.
Right.
And before I start on that, I want to give people an idea on why I chose drugs. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are like, what? He was brought up in a good home, you know, and your dad went through recovery, so why did you choose drugs and alcohol?
Go ahead.
Well, I was brought up in a rough environment, you know, even though I had a good home, I was brought up in a rough environment, and I was basically numbing feelings and anger and emotions through my drugs and my alcohol, number one. You know, and to fast forward up to 5 years ago, before I got clean, I've been 5 years and 5 years and a couple of weeks clean. You know, I have a beautiful wife, you know, and she met me around the time Rebay met me. You know, we were dating then, you know, and that was per se my clean time off the hardcore drugs, but I was still smoking weed and drinking, you know, and wasn't spiritually intact yet, you know. So I start battling with the drugs again, real hardcore, and she went through that battle with me, you know, and with that came her telling me that I can't be in the house no more because I'm gonna be bringing the house down, and
Of course.
I'm not taking care of my responsibilities like a man is supposed to. So she asked me to leave or go into a program. That's all she wanted me to do. You know, my wife just didn't give up on me, and that's why I love her so much to this day. That we went through so much hell, she never gave me like, "Oh, I'm done with you." It was always, "Baby, okay, if you're dealing with this, once you go into a year program, and I got you, I'm here with you." And instead of me choosing that avenue that ultimatum she gave me, I chose the streets and drugs.
Right.
And that's why I said it's insanity, because you would think that any man that has a beautiful wife and a beautiful home and got everything going on for himself, why would he do that? You know? And and it's just, that's what I was taught, and that's the way I was brought up. Even though, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of, you know, my fabric was a good home, I still was brought up in a rough environment. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Always.
we never really know how things like divorce and struggles in the homes and then walking out your front door and being recruited every single day
Yes.
and really in those scenarios when people open up their arms, whether they're opening it up for a good cause or whether they're opening it up for a bad cause, is that open arms.
Yes.
And so you go with it. And so, you know, that's how a lot of that takes place. So that's very understood, very, very well understood. So as of now, let's bring it to date because I want to make sure that I can get through as much as I can in my hour.
Yeah.
And, tell me how you're making it now. What gets you through the day? Because there are people who are where you were and they have not yet come to the crossroads that you did. And so what is it that you can say that pushed you over? You know, what was it? If you can nail down a few bullet points that say it was either this or multiple of this, but that's how I was starting to see the light.
Yeah. Well, through all of that, you know, I had a mom that was going through cancer and chemo and all of that in a battle. So when I wasn't talking to my wife, I would be talking to my mom, and she was the one when I was going through it 6 years ago, because it took me a year to really, okay, I need to stop it, bam. And that's when February the 3rd, 2016 is when I decided, okay, enough is enough. You know, and my mom was always in my ear. Once you go to a meeting, go to a program to where, you know, she was telling me the same thing my wife was telling me. And so when I went to jail on 2016, you know, February the 3rd, I went to jail and I had time to get clean, get my mind right. And those 30 days in there, you know, they came at me with a program to where either you can be in here and rot in jail, or you can get out and get into a very hardcore program, which was Stop Court. And Stop Court was basically a year program. I would go to 2 or 3 classes a week. I would be on phone call with the urinalysis test, you know, 5 days out of the week. Very intense program, you know, and that program basically, by the grace of God, I got through it without any relapses. That program basically taught me how to deal with my emotions. That program taught me how to deal with life without numbing my feelings and getting drunk and high again. That program taught me how to be the man that I'm supposed to be and the husband that I'm supposed to be. Because in that program, it touched on all type of things and problem solving and building yourself back up in a way to where you don't have to be tearing yourself down through alcohol and drugs.
Right.
And when I graduated from that program a year later, and very, very proud of myself, and my wife was there too, and very happy that I finally graduated a program without relapsing and running back to the streets.
Right.
And then we start to work on our marriage, you know, and with that being said, I was like, okay, I'm done with this 1-year program with the courts. Now I'm off probation and I'm free from that handcuff. How can I keep this going without running back? Because I've been through this cycle before all my life. I can
Right.
get clean, you know, a couple of months or a year. I think the year is probably the longest I've been clean back then. But so it's like, how can I do that? And through that, I was already, you know, before I got clean, I was going in and out of these AA meetings, AA and NA meetings. And I would go in there and listen to the stories that these women and men will tell. And that basically encouraged me like, okay, wow, you know, I got something here that can help. You know, and real quick, through my dad, that's how my dad got clean, through the program of AA and NA. So I know about the program. I know, you know, I have aunts and uncles that's gotten clean through the program. So it's not a secret to me. You know what I'm saying? I know about the program.
Right.
So yeah, that's, you know, to all put it all in a nutshell, the program that you're talking about, you know, that I go to today is AA. And AA has really basically been keeping, along with God, has been keeping my mind focused, has been basically helping me to deal with my emotions and not point the finger at my wife or whoever else I'm going through it with or even communicating with. It made me look at me.
Right.
And
right.
just me and work on me.
I noticed that you slipped the word in there, God.
Yes.
So has that been a major foundation?
Oh man. Without God, none of this would be possible, my brother. And I get real emotional in a good way.
Yeah.
Because you know, I was always brought up a spiritual individual, man, and been in and out of churches, you know, and I've always had other people tell me that ain't no program ain't gonna work for you unless you're spiritually connected.
Right.
And I used to always hear that like, whatever, you know, and now I see it's the truth, man.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna work without God guiding me spiritually. Ain't nothing gonna work without God guiding my marriage spiritually. I wouldn't even have this high-paying job that's taking care of me and my family, you know, and I can probably say I'm finally taking care of my wife like she's supposed to be taken care of, man.
Nice.
So these is happy tears coming from my eyes, man. And I thought that I would never be able to do this without selling drugs.
Right.
You know, I'm 48 years old and I've been street hustling all my life, to really tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So within this 5 years, man, it's the first time in my whole entire life being spiritually in tune, being at peace, being at ease, don't have to look over my shoulder and worry about the cops coming and arrest me. You know, it's just
right.
I mean, if you was anybody from a neighborhood and came up from a gang banging, man, and when they come out of that, they know what I'm talking about, man. That feeling, it's like, it's so beautiful.
Right.
You know, it's beautiful, man. So it's like, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. And you know, and it's funny, I was just telling a friend of ours the other night, I stay spiritual because I know without the spiritual connection, nothing in my life would work. My marriage wouldn't work. I wouldn't keep my job. I wouldn't keep myself going to the program. You know, weekly, I probably go to a meeting probably once a week now because, you know, my high-paying job keep me very busy right now. So
right.
So I don't go to as many meetings, you know, AA and NA meetings as I, you know, was doing before I got this job. But it's just like, man, it's a beautiful feeling right now to where my
And my
wife is
brother,
proud of me.
my
My
brother,
mom is proud of me, man.
oh yeah, I know she is.
You know what I'm
Because
saying? So it's
I
like,
had the great
it's a beautiful
opportunity to meet
feeling,
your
man.
mom, and she's just elated with the change, because quite honestly, as she shared with me sometime, she's pretty worried about you for a minute.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah. So Rob, see, I want to thank you so much for being so open and transparent about your life
Yeah.
and sharing those things with us. It's very important. That is the gist of CX Talk, is to get real down and deep with people and find out what makes it work. Because, let's face it, the world, COVID has been kind of like the great equalizer.
Yeah.
And it actually, from where we stand right now, is going to be the great equalizer for a minute. And in so doing, we need to find roots within things that are going to give us what I call the substantive freedom.
Yeah.
Hear stories from individuals that have found ways to break the chains that binds us, because there's so much out there. And right now with the COVID, it really pushes the level that people are like, oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your story. I want to make one attempt again to that we get Andy's music on here.
Oh, okay.
So could we align? I'm going to make another attempt there to get that on there. I'm going to mute both you and me.
Hey, Robe, are you done with me? Yeah.
But I want to say something to you, Rob.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a medium and an intuitive,
Yes.
and my husband had the same problem you did with alcoholism.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want you to know that the angels were working with you
Oh, yes.
are so proud of you, sweetie, and I'm going to turn on my screen if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't, sorry. It's just one of those
What's your
things.
name? What's the name on?
Natasha Venter.
Oh, okay. I see you. Yeah, I see the screen. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want you to know that your ancestors, and it makes me want to cry, because even
Yes.
though I'm of another skin color,
Yes.
that I can put myself in past lives in
Yes.
your place. And I
Yes.
know that there's some of us that can do that. But
Yeah.
I want you to know your ancestors are so proud of you that you are cutting the cords to a lot of family history.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
walked this. And Robe, I've said the same thing to him too. That
Yes, ma'am.
no, your ancestors are just standing behind you, going hooray, because
Yes.
you have just walked this new walk into this new knowing of what you should be, and just keep going. Because
Thank you so much.
today is a new day, and I can tell anybody that. Being a witness to so many that have struggled in life, and including myself with dyslexia, that I've been, beaten up, bullied and all that kind of stuff, even though it's not the same story, but yet at the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
time, I want you to know that you should be very proud of yourself. And I cannot tell you the ancestors that I'm hearing in just the hugest hurrah. I wish you could hear them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There's just like, it's bringing me to tears, the gratitude they have.
Yes.
So
That's I receive that. I receive that. And, and I'm the same way when I get to speaking about how good God is and, what he has done, and just seeing me through all this craziness and not getting a long sentence in jail, or not being dead, number one, or not even, my wife just walking away like, okay, enough is enough. I can't deal with you. Even though we were right when I got clean, we were there already. But,
I can empathize with that statement, being a wife.
yeah. And I want to, she all surprised. Come here.
Oh.
I want to pull her in the picture over here. I don't know if you can see her. It's my baby right here.
Good job, sweetie. Because I know that every day that I walked with my husband, walking forward, I had to say, I have to forgive the past, not necessarily go back to the past, but I had to forgive the past so that I can walk forward. And I just, again, I cannot tell you all the ancestors that you have of all types. I even have some natives in there that are just saying, you got it, dude, just keep going forward, because every day is going to work for you. So,
and that's funny you said that too. On that note, you said forgiveness. Even me, it's like her forgiving me, it has helped me to understand how strong and how important forgiveness is. You understand? So it's like, there you go.
Yep, here I am.
Come back.
Thank you, Robe, for trusting me.
Oh, come on, baby.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, Robin.
So it's like that the power of forgiveness, it's a whole nother level in itself. I know, because I see what me and my wife has went through. And when I hear all these celebrities and other people breaking up their marriages just so easily, I'm like, how did they do it? And why? But at the same time, everybody's journey is different, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I got to realize. So, and like I said earlier, we got to be spiritually in tune, man, to keep marriage and keep home together, you know what I'm saying? So, that's my belief. I can't put that on nobody else, but I know that's what happens in this home.
And that's
God first, or ain't nothing else gonna stay together here.
Yeah.
So,
The higher power that I believe in is one that, I always ask myself, what is this here to teach me? Every experience I have, because everything is a plateau to the next step. And when I use that mantra, what is this here to teach me? It takes it out of the victimhood and steps me into the next knowing. Even me doing the intuitive work I do, I still have I have my emails, angelic clarifications, because it's like life clarifications is what I walk. And people say, how did you do that? Well, I just believe in something greater,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Man, oh man, I received that. It's like me being at another meeting. I already went to one earlier today.
Blessings to you, because I just want you to know that you have Archangel Michael behind you, and Gabrielle, who is Archangel Michael, if you know him, he is the angel that holds a sword. He's not on the pedestal. He's actually in his Bermuda shorts, sitting on a beach going, oh my God, are they going to do that again? Angel and Archangel,
All right,
Gabriel
guys.
is with you. and he's
sure.
helping you with communication.
Hello,
So
hello.
you
Hey,
need
guys.
help with communication, know that he's helping you. So whatever you believe in is your belief, but I just wanted to give that language to you, sweetie.
Thank
All
you.
right. So
Appreciate it.
I want to do like the television. I want to mute because we have our time for today. And
Okay.
first of all, I want to thank all the people who joined us today. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties. We're learning this platform, and but I appreciate you joining us today. And next month, you will get to hear more of Natasha. And also we have with us next month is Mr. Blue Mankuma, who is a star-studded actor who has been in over 200 movies that we all have seen from everywhere. So you will be truly amazed at his journey. And I want to thank you. And for those of you that are around tomorrow, we want you to join us tomorrow for the movie debut of Dressed in Black. It is a movie documentary that I first did in 2020 for the Vancouver Public Library. And we had a capacity crowd there, and it was well received then. And so tomorrow's video will showcase what we call the Dressed in Black remix. So I really appreciate you joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And we're going to get this thing figured out so that next time we can show the videos of the people. So thank you very much. And as always, in departing, I wish you love, peace, and follow the way. I'm out of here. I'm Robb Hartnett. Take care of yourselves out there. Thank you, Rob. I really appreciate you, brother. Love you now.
I love you.
All right.
In a minute.
And bye to the family.
Yes, sir.
Robe, if I can maybe help you a little bit with that video problem, I can maybe help you.
Okay. Let me do, we will do a in one, and then I invite you, and then you can tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.